Hi, my name is Jo Hadley, and this is my podcast, Being a Human Lighthouse. As I've often spoken about on this podcast, my particular goal and intention is to go within, journey within, and connect consciously and live fully from my soul, my higher self, my inner connection to Source and all it is. This is available to all of us, and it always has been, but until recently, a select few have only really understood. And we often look at outside sources, outside people to guide us and trust. While source energy is all it is around us and it's within us. And for me, learning to tune into the source energy that's within me, that's my higher self, my soul, is my intention. And to live there consciously, fully consciously, preferably 24/7. Now, what blocks this is the perception, the faulty perceptions and the veils or filters that block this inner light, this inner wisdom. So all these patterns and energies that we've accumulated within this lifetime, past lifetimes, we've inherited from our ancestral lines, and even the current collective energies of the earth, which is also just a combination of all the past energies that have been added to over the millennia. All these energies, if they haven't been integrated into a more of a oneness, wholeness level of energy, can be influencing us and creating faulty perceptions so we don't always see our inner being as clearly as we could if all the veils and all the filters were removed. But it's a journey. And I've come to realize that there's no wrong turns, there's no wrong choices. When we make a choice that turns out not very well, we've learnt that it's not that way. It is really difficult to start with because when these veils are very thick or the filters are very dark, it can be very hard to discern the right way to go. So sometimes there are a lot more false starts, false turns at the beginning of the journey. The more we sort of start to recognize when we're being led by our true self and our inner wisdom, the more we recognize it, the quicker we can recognize which is the right path to go. It's always very easy in theory. And what happens is when you intend to go within, when you intend to access this inner light, this inner energy of our soul and higher self, then all the rubbish that's not that starts getting brought to the surface and brought into our awareness. And it can seem like we're going nowhere, that we're failing, that we're going backwards. But what it is we're actually going forwards because the more we go within, these denser energies, the lower energies and vibrations can't stay. They have to go. So they come up to be witnessed, often felt and experienced within the body. And that means they're on their way out. And we have to do this at our own rate. Sometimes it can be quick, sometimes it can be a bit slower. I've had to remind myself of this the past few weeks because two recurrent patterns of my life have recurred. And the best thing is, I recognize the patterns. I know that the people involved who are triggering me are not the problem, that that's just the messenger. I have to go underneath the other humans that are just delivering the message to find out what is this core wound that I need to heal. What in me is resonating with these other people or this other situation that is drawing me back time and time again to a similar pattern. And trust me, I've moved a lot in my life and I've done different things, and these patterns tend to follow. So we can't change the outer circumstances unless we change the inner. We can change the outer, but often those inner patterns will recur no matter where we go. And I found this with these two particular patterns. I've been aware of them for quite a while. One of them I've managed to avoid, I would say, just the way I've been able to choose my life. I've been able to choose so this particular pattern didn't have to come up. But again, with life circumstances, it's back. And I see it really clearly. I was even walking to work the other day and again trying to tune into my higher self, and I had an intuitive flash about where this began. And I knew the dynamics that were involved at the beginning. And again, it occurred in my childhood. And it's been really tricky because I thought I'd address these issues. But sometimes the deeper we go, the more complex, it's almost like we're getting the deeper roots out, the harder stuff to take out. We go ever, ever deeper into lower basements of ourselves. So that's what I've been doing in each of these problems. So I've got two concurrently that have both been raising their heads and creating a lot of internal turmoil within me because I tend to tune in as these patterns are being observed, they're also being felt. I may have said in a podcast recently that I recognized just from all the theory, from trauma theory and the different scientific evidence that's come out recently, especially with trauma and healing, and how the nervous system gets dysregulated. Just by looking and reminding myself of where my parents came from and how they were brought up, because I'm lucky enough to know quite a few of the stories, I realized that, wow, that I had parents who probably never felt safe in their life, especially when they were children and probably all through their lives. And I thought, no wonder I've had, through my adolescence and adult years, had this sense of anxiety that I never knew where it came from. And then I've traced it back, going, wow, I can't but not have picked it up from my parents if that was how they were vibrating and emanating, because they knew no better. So there is no blame, it's like understanding. So I've noticed that this pattern, this sort of almost a lack of safety pattern within, has been really coming to the forefront lately. A couple of weeks ago, with my last podcast, I talked about how I had realized that I'd probably had this sense of disease and not safe my whole life as well. Even though I've been meditating for over 10 years, even though I've been doing lots of inner work, it's interesting. I've always been curious about how I could still tell that there was this little vibrating energy always in the background, never quite 100% calm for too long. So that again has raised its head, but come to the forefront, which means it's ready to be healed. And it's these two patterns that I've been holding and holding space for. And I talk about it today to remind myself that at times it feels like I'm failing, that I'm going backwards, that I'm not good enough at this. But in fact, the mere intention of wanting to go within, the intention of wanting to see these patterns, allowing myself to be aware of them and give myself a little bit of space, allow myself to feel what comes up, ask my higher power to help me, this inner light to help me dissolve them. They're all things that I've been doing. Just when you're in the middle of processing, it can be a bit daunting and unpleasant. So I've got to continually remind myself as well. Because we're all human and we're all on this path together. We can be really enlightened in certain aspects of our life, but we can actually have a lot of blind spots in other areas. That's why it's really important to learn to cultivate our own inner wisdom so we can discern and not always 100% listen to others, because no matter how wonderful and intentions that speakers or teachers and guides have, until we're 100% living from our higher self, there's always a potential for blind spots. So we have to be aware that we can listen to others, but learning to go within and see whether that resonates or whether it seems true for us is important. Because I know when I talk, I'm talking from as an authentic or truthful place as I have at that moment. But things are always coming up, and I wonder, wow, I'm actually more aware and more enlightened today than I was yesterday. But we're all just helping each other. As we hold space and lift each other up in energy, each of us can jump up another level. So even people who do podcasts and guide others need their own support system to be lifted up to the next level in their own lives. And eventually, we will all reach the same destination of living 100% truly authentically from our hearts and our soul and our higher self. And from that place, it's from love and peace, compassion. And if we all lived from that place, we wouldn't be intentionally or unintentionally hurting others. We'd be coming from our true bliss and our joy. We'd be working with each other synchronistically, energetically. And so, of course, the work we do with each other would be very powerful. And if everyone was in connection with their higher self and someone had a low day, it would be really, really easy for people just to hold space and then lift the person having the bad day up to the same level again. It's meant to be us all helping each other along the path. So hopefully these podcasts help others. And I listen to a variety of speakers and people as well that help push and lift me up to expand into an ever higher level of consciousness and frequencies that are more aligned with my heart, soul, and higher self. And it's good to remind ourselves that everything is frequency and vibration, as Nikola Tesla commented. Everything is these vibrations and frequencies. So when we are triggered and have patterns, because all a trigger is just an unhealed wound, unhealed pattern. So when we notice these triggers within our body, within our behaviors, instead of blaming the outer circumstances and the people who may have triggered that, it's a more advanced step to pause, go within, and be curious about what is resonating within myself that is attracting this other outer problem or this other person to create this reaction in me or even to be in my life. Because once we've healed that energy, we no longer resonate with that pattern or that trigger. So the people who are the messengers will be going off to give the message to someone else. And we can always go within and ask for help by tuning in. The meditation that I am about to do is a nice way to tune in to your own inner wisdom and your own higher self. And the more you tune into these higher levels, the more discernment you can have at choosing the best path and for dealing with any energies that are resonating that are creating havoc. I've been doing that the last few days. And remind yourself that the fact that you're even doing the work, that you're intending to go forward, that you're aware of it, is a huge achievement in itself. And nothing is completed in one step. It's a process. It may not be a linear path, but it's an ever unfolding journey. So now I'm going to finish off with my meditation that is designed to tune in to my higher self and allow those energies and wisdom to come through. If you like, you can join me. And if you feel called to, you can sit back in your chair, close your eyes. If you'd like, you can put your hands over your heart, because it is our heart center that is a really important focus point for connecting to ourselves, our souls, and our higher self. And just practice just breathing low and slow at your own rate and rhythm. And if you can visualize breathing in and out through the heart center. And as you breathe in, just imagine you're filling up your whole body with light. And as you breathe out, you're letting go of everything you're ready to remove from your energy bodies. Just breathe in, filling up with light, inviting your higher self and inner wisdom to fill up and be easily connected to within your body. And as you breathe out, let go of everything you're ready to let go of. Now just feel the chair that's supporting you. Feel your feet on the floor. Become aware of the material world supporting your physical form. If it calls to you, you can imagine there's roots growing from the soles of your feet, anchoring you and grounding you to the center of the earth that is filled with energy, that works with us and gives us all we need, and we work with this earth for our air that we breathe, for the food that we eat, and for all the products that help us create our material world. So as you're anchoring to the center of the earth, give thanks and gratitude to all the assistance that your body and physical form receives from the earth. Now I invite you to turn your attention to the crown of your head and imagine a cord is going to the center of the universe, and you're going to plug in to all that is. So you're directly, consciously connected to all that is. And that now you're a bridge or a conduit from the energy, from the source energy of all that is, that flows through you to the earth below, and from the earth below through you to the center of the universe. Now I invite you just to be curious. Just scan your awareness over your body. Are there any sensations or feelings occurring within your body? Just observe them. If they're unpleasant, you can open your eyes, focus your feet on the floor. But if they're not overwhelming, just notice them, be curious. Be non-judgmental, even if they're unpleasant. Just be curious of the sensations that are arising here and now within your body. These are often the energies and patterns that require your awareness to heal. The ones that are coming up to be seen and witnessed and released, that are the most important for you to release at this point. Just give them some space Just observe them. Don't analyze them. Just notice. You can name them if you like. If it's an emotion or a sensation that a word could fit, you can name them or label them. Otherwise, just be curious and notice them. Knowing that if anything's overwhelming, you can stop, open your eyes, feel your feet on the floor. Come back to the present moment. Now I invite you to turn your attention back to your heart center. Again, you can place your hand over your heart if they're not there yet, or if it calls to you. And again, just notice the sensations in your body. But now I'm going to ask you to invite your inner wisdom or your higher self to gently release these energies. So just ask your higher self or your inner wisdom to just take these energies, these sensations, and assist you with clearing them. You may have some insights, you may not. Just notice if anything changes in the sensations. Often when patterns and energies are being transformed and healed, then they will become lighter. You will feel lighter. The intensity of the sensation would decrease. This may or may not happen. And just allow your higher self to work within your body, removing and transforming any energy that's ready to be healed and transforming it into peace, joy, unconditional love, wisdom. Now, as this meditation draws to a close, I'll just invite you to bring your attention back to the chair that you're sitting on. Again, just feel how it's supporting you. You can feel the clothes on your skin. Feel your feet on the floor. And again, feel how you're connected to the earth beneath your feet. And you can ground yourself again to the center of the earth to assist you in integrating any energy that's moved through you today. And when you're ready, you can start to wiggle your hands, fingers, toes. Move on the chair. Open your eyes if they're closed. And just do a little check-in with your body. Is there any change in sensations? Is there a sense of lightness? Has anything changed? Have there any flashes of insight or wisdom occurred? Just be curious. Everyone changes and integrates in their own individual way. So I wish you a great week and happy integrating all the energies that need to be integrated, and may you know your higher self more tomorrow than you did today. Bye for now.